This is a video about structuring financing, and in particular, I'm going to talk about things you might see in a term sheet and how to quantify them. I'm making this video as a follow-up to my course, and I'm going to, in this video, talk about this business of when you size a loan, should it come from debt to capital or DSCR? If you can't put the difference between these two methods in a model, your model sucks. If you can't model a DSRA letter of credit versus a funded letter of credit to see how much that's worth, your model sucks. If you can't put equity contributions with an EBL in here, your model sucks. If you can't put a balloon payment and demonstrate to management how important a balloon payment is or is not, your model sucks. And you notice I'm fed up with these kind of messages. What's this one? Tushar Bohawadi. I give these stupid videos for free, and this guy says I'm a lousy teacher, which maybe I am. He has no clue. And I have to listen to this crap, and I have to listen to, OMG, my head was spinning when I had your video. These are not supposed to be simplistic. Here's how you make a goal seek. Or saying a load duration curve is sorting loads from the highest to the lowest. Duh! Some other guy couldn't figure that out. And you notice I'm swearing. Some white man from the south of the United States who has a 95% chance of voting for Trump told me not to swear. I'm going to say bullshit, because here's what's bullshit. Here's a big thing that's bullshit. When these modelers tell me they copy and paste macros work just fine in models, because you cannot evaluate. What you're supposed to do, especially in something like this, is model these kind of things. Model these increasing credit spreads. And what happens if they don't increase? What happens if we refinance? It's a lot more important being able to demonstrate and quantify to your boss which is the important ones to look at, which not, which affects the risk and which don't. So as I'm making my new kind of website, I'm trying to make it clear. This is all this stupid stuff about that I think is blah, 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 flexible, accurate, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so sick of hearing, you got to tell people how to color a sheet. Give me a break. You got to understand the ideas. And so I have advanced ideas. I try to put very clearly where you can find the databases, which are some of the really important databases, what you can do with them, why they're important. Here, this one is, I'm in a really cheap little hotel in Kuala Lumpur, and the internet doesn't seem to be working so well, so let me go try that again. Care anymore. You don't have to. Here's my point about this Tashi blah blah blah. You do not have to, and here's what I'm trying to do. All of these pages, I'm putting a few buttons for the key files. I'm taking away some of the other files that don't matter, and I'm trying to put an explanation of what to do, and the video's just at the end. Okay, so here's this video. Oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. Okay, I hope that doesn't screw me up. Now, this video is in right here. We go to Advanced Project Finance Structuring. We go to Debt Repayment. Take some online class from University of Pennsylvania or some crap like that if you want. But, if you really want to figure out what's going on, go here and I put the balloon payments in. I put a little explanation of what I'm going to do, the impacts. I've put a little bit on how mechanically this stuff works. I've still got to fill this thing in, and then we're going to have a video. And that's how all of this stuff is working on the new website. If you don't like it, turn the stupid video off. Just like if I don't like making videos because I'm receiving these comments, I don't have to make them either, do I? Okay, it's not, and so I'm downloading this file. What I did is already download this one. Here is what I have. Now this This file, I'm going to introduce two files for you. This file allows you to kind of put a balloon payment in, and when you put a balloon payment in, you can see what happens to the debt to capital. And if you did not resolve a circular reference, and if you put a cash flow sweep for the balloon payment, how does that affect things? How does the balloon payment work if there's a higher DSCR or a lower DSCR? All of those kind of things. And you cannot do any of these. You cannot make a nice presentation and people say, oh, those spinner boxes are just stupid little gimmicks. No, they're not. They're ways you can explain sophisticated ideas to your management. And here's what this is an introduction to what I'm going to be explaining a little more. I have something called a UDF Mirror. And I know PwC and all these accounting firms make millions by auditing models. This is a UDF that basically tests whether all those things that come from circular references really work. And all you have to do is this thing has a whole lot of stuff that you don't have to enter. Things like what's the DSCR, are you sizing from debt to capital or DSCR and input debt to capital? Are you sculpting or not? Do the DSRAs are funded or from an LC? What's the LC? What's the interest income rate? All of this thing. And then you can put 20 different issues in. And for each issue, you can tell if it's sculpted, putting PRI in, what's the interest rate per period, what's the balloon payment made. I'm sure I've missed something. You don't have to put anything in. If it's a really simple annual model, you can put almost nothing of this stuff in. And what you do is you copy this sheet to your own sheet, copy it, and it resolves all the circular. It does the copy and paste, and then you don't have to stop Excel. No stopping Excel with running a macro. It's part of like a function, like a sum function. You don't have to stop Excel when you put a sum function in your model. You don't have to stop when you put a lookup function or an index function. That's how this works. Okay, there are going to be so many videos that explain. I am sorry, you don't have to watch any of them. This is for my class. It's not for, what's this man's name? It's not for you, Tushar. It really isn't. Okay? Oh, stop. Where am I? Okay. Now, I'm going to now illustrate the idea. This balloon payment. Calm down. Let me calm down. I'm going to have a heart attack. I just came from Abidjan, and I got so emotional about people stealing money with high IRRs, World Bank stealing money with high credit spreads. I don't care what I say anymore. I don't have anything to lose, really, do I? Okay, now, here's the first thing to understand. Let's put a lower project IRR. This kind of IRR is too high anyway, way too high. Okay, let's put a low. Once we have a low IRR here, did you notice, I hope you noticed that it says DSCR is driving the debt. That's because if we push this blue line down, there's less area, and that's because every banker should know the NPV of the debt service down here is the value of the debt. And if we could put a lower DSCR in, we get a higher amount of debt. When you get a higher amount of debt, that's good. For you, it increases the IRR. I put a lower LIBOR. Maybe I should put a little bit of a higher interest rate here, and then we have our varying margins. And maybe the reason I left it at 22 is we kind of have a 22-year. This one I took a 22-year debt. I'm not making that one up. Okay. All right. And then we. Okay. So let's say we start with. An equity IRR of 4.9. Now, every time you do this, you should say, well, okay, the IRR on the debt is 3.2%, probably too low. Let's put it a little bit higher. We'll give you a little bit more. The real thing anybody is doing in this bidding stuff is trying to structure this so you can keep the project IRR as low as you can and the debt IRR as high. As long as the project IRR is higher than the debt, then you start playing your games. And a lot of these are games because the fundamental stuff is just getting a lower debt cost than your equity cost and getting as much debt in as possible. Okay, so we start with 6%, not very good. Now, if we would put a balloon payment in, that means we get to lower the debt service, lower the basic debt service, and we can lower the repayment on the base one, and part of the repayment goes into this balloon right at the end. And when we do all of that, that allows us to increase our debt ratio. Let's see how that works. So you put a higher balloon payment in. I think that debt ratio is going up. And now we're getting it close to our 85% kind of stuff. And when we do this, I hope the IRR is going up. And let's be really extreme. Let's put it to 20%. We're getting it up to a 11% IRR. If we could somehow make it even longer, we'd get a higher IRR. Okay, I'm not going to go that far. If we could, if it's affected, of course, by the credit spread, we can. So we're starting to get a much higher equity IRR. Part that shows you that the equity IRR is all baloney, bullshit anyway. I'm saying bullshit. I don't care anymore because so much in finance is bullshit. I can't not say that. I'm not going to say too many other swear words, but I get to say that one. And if it offends you, turn the video off, okay? And what happened is we switched it. Now we got so much debt in here. We switched it from being a debt to capital constraint because eventually we put so much debt in here. I guess, I don't know what I got to go down. So much debt, we switched it from one constraint to the other. And if you don't have both constraints in your financial model and you're trying to explain to your management what goes on, how can you do that? Look how it kind of changed in the middle. That's what's going on. Now, if we put this in and then we say, oh no, if there's going to be a big balloon payment, perhaps I should have kind of shown this balloon payment here at the end. Maybe, okay. Let's put a 15% balloon payment. So we're up to 11%, whereas when we started with 6.9, that's pretty dramatic, isn't it? For that one thing in the term sheet. Now we'll, as we go on, I'm going to show you the effect of the DSRA, putting the DSRA as payments in the sculpting thing. These are all massive circular references. Okay, now if we put a sweep in, that means if we put a sweep in here, that's going to say, oh no, and we have to get how many. If we start sweeping this 5 years beforehand, then our IRR went down a little bit. Okay, that's something else in the term sheet. But it didn't go down as much as I might have thought. And actually, this was too much because we swept actually more than the whole balloon payment. So maybe we could have started with 4 years. And then you can look at the effect. These all have massive circular references. If I was having to do a copy and paste every time, it would be a mess. Now, if I put a developer fee in, which means I'm really putting less equity in, and I have a debt to capital constraint, then my IRR is going up even higher. These are all the things you can start to do now. Developer fee is very controversial. And somebody at NG, it's somebody good, who said, stop wasting your time. Why are you so obsessed about developer fees? It's just because it's a good way to explain the balance sheet versus the profit and loss. I'm kind of complaining about him now. I just reset everything to zero. If the DSCR drives debt, I put a developer fee in and it has no effect because the debt is all driven by the DSCR. It's all driven by the future. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Oh no. All right. And then if the If instead, again, if we want to make this, I better reset everything here. Yeah, I reset the development fee. Now, if we have a higher IRR, I put lower CapEx in to get a higher IRR. If we have a higher IRR and the debt to capital is driving, let's go backwards. If we put the development fee in when the DSCR was driving it, I put a higher development fee in here, and nothing is happening. Nothing is going on. Nothing is going on. Okay? Now, if I reset it and then put a higher DSCR, if you put a higher project IRR, if you have a higher project IRR, eventually the debt to capital will drive things. If the debt to capital drives things and you put a development fee in, then oh no, then the IRR is going up. I hope you're looking at that IRR going up over there. So then you're going to try to get your accountants to put in as much development fee as possible, because a development fee means you get to increase you get an asset write-up. It's an asset write-up. You should have a gain on sale in your accounts. You should understand that you might pay taxes on that if you're going to put a development fee in and to have a depreciation on that development fee for taxes. You better understand some accounting for all of that. All right? I think that's just about enough. I've gone through this. Now, wouldn't you like to add this sort of thing to every single financial model you do? I hope you're saying yes. Finally, I hope you're saying yes. I hope you're saying, the way we did it was bullshit. Because, if let's say this happened to me, somebody gave me this, it was wonderful. Look at, these are all different proposals. P99 1.0, P50 1.04. Here, let's take another one. P50 1.5. But then they have a lower upfront fee, maybe, and a different credit commitment fee. I don't know where the credit spread is. Where the heck is the spread? That's what we really need to know. We need to know what the difference is in these things. And I would like to be able to just put all of these things in quickly and say, here's option 1, here's option 2, here's option 3. Can we model those? And each one of them has kind of a maximum debt to capital too. Maximum 80%. Here's one with maximum 85%. Here's maximum 75%. We need again a P50 1.4 1 year, P99 1.0. We need to, and we want to make different kinds of bids, and we want to look at the tenor and the credit spreads and figure out if we can refinance these and all of these things. This is having a 30 or page model with these beautiful stupid colors, and which I go crazy on too, I know, but having all of that without being able to really analyze and be able to say, here is the difference in the deals. This is the one we should look at perhaps, or if we believe we can refinance, we should do one. If we aren't going to refinance, we can do another. And that's why this model where you just say, okay, this is a template. You just copy this into a page in your model. This is the output. It outputs all of the kind of the key things like the CFADS, the funding needs, the DSRA balances, the LC on the DSRA, the NOLs. It outputs all of that stuff in there for you. And you can put a whole bunch of different options, just like I said before. I've taken you through this. And these are all linked to your model. So once you can try to do your models the way you used to do them with the copy and paste and all that, all you do is plop this page in, and after you plop this page in, you can put a whole bunch of different debt issues in there as well. This is just an introduction. Don't worry, I'm going to take you through a lot of videos on exactly how easy this is to do. How easy this is to do, and even if you have something to modify in the VBA, don't be afraid of VBA at all. You can do that. So that's enough ranting. And no, good. You don't. It's too long. TLN view. Too long, not viewed. Who cares? It's too long for you and you want to just go and see how to make a gold seed, go to another video.